Hello everyone, and welcome to my Days of Our Lives official. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up.
Johnny and Chanel had made love the night before and woke up in bed together at the DiMera home. When Chanel and Johnny claimed to have done something in bed for the first time, they made fun of each other. Paulina texted Chanel to let her know that EJ had been attempting to get in touch with Johnny. Johnny was shocked to hear about Holly's overdose and reached for his phone. After hastily getting dressed, Johnny headed to the hospital. Abe prepared Paulina brunch at her apartment with Chanel. Abe apologized for not being able to spend more time with Paulina the night before. Abe went on to say that he still couldn't recall what the pair had shared before he lost his memory. Therefore, he felt it was inappropriate to be intimate with Paulina. Abe and Paulina shared a kiss after he declared his love for the woman he was getting to know. Chanel came in and said she was sorry to have interrupted. To get ready for the day, Abe went out. Paulina later shared her night with Abe with Chanel. The news that Abe had confessed his love to Paulina thrilled Chanel. Abe and Paulina had also stayed the night together, Chanel saw. Paulina complained bitterly that she had slept in a different bed from Abe. Chanel thought of Johnny and the night before. In flashbacks, Johnny produced a can of whipped cream and informed Chanel he was hungry. Chanel chuckled and inquired as to if Johnny intended to consume whipped cream straight from the can. "No, don't get ahead of yourself," Johnny declared. "I'm going to eat it off of you." Chanel grinned as she stated to Paulina that her New Year's Eve with Johnny had been pretty sweet. Paulina claimed that nothing brought her more joy than witnessing Chanel smile. Chanel was questioned by Paulina about her night out with Johnny. Chanel remembered slathering herself with whipped cream. Johnny licked whipped cream over Chanel's neck, breast, legs, stomach, and other erogenous areas while sensual music played in the background. It was implied that Johnny had engaged in oral sex with Chanel since she closed her eyes and leaned back. Chanel added, "Yeah, and Johnny said that he'd love to have late-night dessert more often," to Paulina. "Well, you warn him to use caution. Eating something rich so late at night isn't always a good idea," Paulina remarked. Chanel tried not to chuckle. What did I say?" Paulina inquired naively. A few moments later, Abe was back with Paulina and Chanel. The subject turned to Holly. Chanel questioned whether Tate had given Holly narcotics. Abe lamented that the drug problem had gotten out of hand. "I mean, people are overdosing every day and dying," Abe said. "I wish I knew how to stop the epidemic in Salem," Paulina added. Paulina promised to find out more about Holly's fate. EJ informed Johnny that Holly was in a coma at the hospital's nurse's station. EJ slapped Tate and kept accusing him of being responsible for Holly's overdose. After stating that he had something to share with EJ, Johnny revealed that Holly had consumed alcohol on Christmas Eve. EJ felt bad about leaving Holly alone that evening with Nicole. Johnny held himself responsible for not keeping a closer eye on Holly. EJ maintained that Tate was solely to blame for Holly's condition. It was likely, Johnny reasoned, that Holly had been using before Tate. When EJ got a call, he moved over to take it. Teresa met Justin in the Salem police station foyer to discuss Tate's case. When Alex showed up, he boastfully informed Justin that he had found another person to represent Tate. Justin was regularly insulted by Alex. Alex's choice to engage a new attorney without first contacting Teresa was resisted. Although he expressed gratitude to Teresa for her support, Justin stated that he was amenable to seeking legal advice. Justin's suggestion wasn't horrible, Rafe replied, because EJ was out for blood. Brady and Tate quarreled in the adjacent interrogation room about Tate's admission of guilt for Holly's drug overdose. Tate needed a suit and tie for court, so John brought them in. When Tate discovered Holly unconscious, he hated himself for not dialing 911. John put his arms over Tate's shoulders and urged him to quit pointing the finger at himself. John, Tate, and Brady soon followed in the lobby. Teresa and Brady got into a fight over Tate. Since there wasn't much hard proof against Tate, Justin expressed optimism. After laying out his strategy, Justin thought Tate would be granted bail and released. The judge would not put up with the kind of tantrums that Teresa, Brady, and Alex were known for, according to Justin, who wanted to appear in court with Tate alone. After Justin and Tate left for the courthouse, everyone agreed with their choice. Brady and John went to the park for some fresh air. John was sought to reassure Brady that Tate had not resorted to drugs in the same way that Brady and Teresa did. John stated unequivocally that it was not feasible. "Son, I'm telling you." Regarding Tate, John remarked, "I have a feeling that young man is telling the truth." Brady claimed to have hoped John was correct. Brady apologized to Teresa for their earlier dispute when they were back at the police station. At that moment, Tate and Justin came back. With excitement, Justin announced that Tate had posted bond. Brady, Teresa, Alex, and John were ecstatic and relieved. Teresa put her arms around Tate and gave him a long embrace. When Johnny called Chanel back in the park, she was appalled to hear that Holly had nearly passed away from the overdose. Chanel inquired as to whether Holly had been using and whether Tate or Holly had been the owner of the narcotics. According to Johnny, EJ was certain that Tate owned the drugs. Johnny invited Chanel to have breakfast with him. Chanel concurred and expressed her want to find out more about Tate and Holly. EJ was eager to blame Tate for Holly's overdose, according to Johnny. He is enraged. "I'm truly furious," Johnny said Chanel. "I just hope he doesn't do anything crazy." Meanwhile, Tate, back at the police station, was relieved to be going home with Brady and Teresa. At that moment, Rafe and Justin came back with some unpleasant news. "The judge called me just now. Your bail has been revoked, and he has changed his mind." "I'm sorry, Tate, but you're staying put." To the shock of Tate, Brady, Teresa, and everyone else present, Rafe declared, "I have to take you back into custody." Sarah came out of the bedroom wearing Xander's shirt when he was preparing breakfast at his apartment. When Xander remarked, "I was going to bring you breakfast in bed," Xander quickly remarked that rather than interrupting Sarah in bed, he would have first knocked on her door. Sarah stated, "To be honest, I wouldn't have objected." Sarah confirmed that the infant had slept through the night when Xander inquired about Victoria. "Especially since I ruined your New Year's Eve plans," remarked Xander. Sarah recalled kissing Xander around midnight. Sarah remarked, "I wouldn't say ruined." Victoria began to sob in the other room as Xander began to apologize for being so direct. Sarah had completed the haggis breakfast that Xander had made when he and Victoria returned. When Xander mentioned scones, Sarah seemed perplexed by how he spoke the word. Sarah laughed as she remarked, "I do admit that I hope she gets your accent. I was kind of hoping she'd take more after your side of the family," replied Xander. Xander expressed his affection for Sarah, Maggie, and their accents to Sarah. "To be honest, I like everything about you," Xander remarked. Sarah blushed and stumbled as she said she had to gather Victoria's belongings and get ready. According to Sarah, "It is my night with her, as you know." "All right. How could I have forgotten?" Xander muttered.